What's going on, good people? Welcome back to another episode of the Bison Trading Show, coming at you live from the Bison Trading Lab. If you don't know, I'm half of the Bison Trading Show crew. I go by the name of Ty Trades Features, and of course, I'm here with my guy.
You know the one and only. I'm the D guy, aka Pearl Financial, man. I appreciate everyone who pulled up tonight, ready to get these levels in. Let's see what this market has to give us because tomorrow is Friday, Bison live trading. So let's see what the levels that we called out and how they played out and see what the market's going to happen. So enough with the chit chat and let's just jump right on in.
All right, so let's go ahead and get started. You know, my two favorite pairs, I like to talk about the Dow Jones and I like to talk about Dollar Swiss. So, you know what, today, let's actually start with our currency market. And let's talk about the Dollar Swiss and what's been happening. Now, for a long time, a very long time, we told you guys that the trend for the dollar Swiss currency pair was down. And we can see that by looking at the higher time frame. We want to start by doing our top down analysis. And in that method, we look from the higher time frames to determine what the long term trend is. And then we work our way down to figure out what trades we could possibly find. So, over the long term period, we've seen that the dollar Swiss has been down for the past 2 years. But recently, since the beginning of 2021, we've seen a little bit of support start to form down here at 89. It happened for the first time in January, around early January, late December, when we came into these levels. We saw the first push. So, in my opinion, this right here was the precursor. This was the first warning signal that the downtrend may have been over. And also on the longer term time frames, if we scroll to the left, we can see that we also have support levels way back from 2012 and also from 2013 to 2014. So these levels have been important at 90-cent level. So it's no surprise that when we come back into it in today's time, we are finding support down here. And if you look at it, it's really more of an elongated, inverted head and shoulders because if you look at this portion down here, this could be our head. We have our left shoulder at 90-50, and then we follow it over. It's not quite perfect, but it's good enough where we have our right shoulder over here. And we know that that's a very bullish pattern. Seeing that this is also long-term resistance, long-term support, this could be a good opportunity to go long. And if you look at the weekly candle, look at this action that we're seeing. This engulfs everything that's happened since April 19th. So over the past, two and a half months, we've regained that in less than a day. And that's what happened yesterday when the Fed had their decision. The dollar Swiss went up. All of the dollar pair movements, they're moving. D is going to talk to you guys about AU. That's been moving too. Everything has been in motion.
Gold as well has also been making moves. So you don't do your analysis?
Say what?
I said you was passing it over?
Okay. I was just saying everything has been moving.
Yep, agreed.
All of the currency pairs.
Yep.
And with dollar Swiss, we can see that we've actually broken past a major level of resistance back from May 13th. This is the level that we were talking to you guys a few weeks about at around 90.90 and 91 cents even. We've shot straight past those levels. So that's very bullish activity.
Yep.
And essentially, we've had a breakout for the most part. We've broken past all of the major levels of resistance that we had before. The first one coming at 90.30, the next one at 90.80, a little bit further up at 91.50, and right now we're sitting somewhere around 91.75 at that quarter level.
Yep.
So that's what we're looking at on the daily chart. It's the breakout. So we really want to see if the breakout can continue. We know that the momentum is to the upside, so now we have to start looking for levels that used to be resistance that can now act as our support levels because those typically are the prices that the market likes to pull back to before it makes its next move. So when we look to the left, we see our first level located down here at 99. If we look to the left, we can also see that that's been an important level of support before. So it should hold up the next time that it comes back. That's one of our levels we can look for. And I would say the best level right now is probably over here, a little bit higher at 91.50. We should be able to pull back there. And if we see any type of bullish activity, meaning that we need a higher low off of that level, if we see that happen, we should expect higher prices in the future, at least for right now, because we want to ride this momentum and take advantage of this uptrend that we're seeing. So for the most part, I'm looking for the uptrend. I like 91.50, and my second level below that would be 90.90. So that's what I'm looking for when it comes to dollar Swiss. I think the overall trend is down, but right now we can see that the prices are moving.
Yo, I'm writing that joint down. You said USDC. What was the level you said again? You said it, but I didn't have my pen. Say it one more time.
I like 90.90.
90.90.
And I like 91.50.
91.50. Cool. And it's still to go up, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Those are my pullback levels.
Okay. So you passing over now?
Yep.
All right. So that's cool. Bet. So now what I want? Yep. You are man. You've been with me way too long, my good brother. Way too long. So I want you to flash to the monthly because, like I said, I don't want my people to forget that the monthly is just as important. It's just as all of the time frames, if not important, more important. Just because this is the one where you're going to try to decide, or the higher time frames are going to be the reason you decide what direction you're going to go. So the only thing we're pretty much looking for are lower lows, lower highs, and the 20 moving average below the 50 or your 7 below the 65. This case, it is. Let's move down to the weekly. And also, too, like I said before, also looking for trends, looking for patterns that the market typically does. In this case scenario that we have, the market does a lot of hitting the 20 moving average, respecting that area and moving down. Right, even before then, even before we start having our way down, we were hitting the moving averages and coming down. We were not having any type of momentum to try to break those moving averages, just really respecting it. We had a false breakout, like where Tiberius was showing. He actually was showing a little bit fast, but we had the false breakout where it broke that high left area, that one, and the one above. That's the one I'm really talking about. Yep, we had a false breakout right there. But notice, nothing really happens for no reason. And that area where it pulled back exactly where that low area was at. So we always like to look at previous lower areas when we're looking for down movements or retracements for down movements. So let's go ahead and move down to the daily. So like we said, we have pretty much everything in alignment as far as the down move is concerned. But right now on the daily, we do see breaking of structure over to the left, like Tiberius pointed out, where the 91.75, where it's kind of sitting right now. So for me, even the overall trend is down, so I would have to stay on that side of the spectrum. So now I would be only looking for areas to move up a little bit higher in order for me to try to get that to bring the market down. So for any good down move, you need a good up move. I say that so much, and I want to kind of drill that in you guys' head. For every good down move, you need a good up move, and vice versa. For every for every down move, you need a good up move. Or did I say the same thing? I'm not even sure.
They get the point.
They get the point. They
understand. They know your line.
They get it by now. So with that being said, we are on the daily. So now let's drop down to a lower time frame. Let's drop down to the 2 hour and see really where we want to try to get in and execute a good little short. Being that's making such higher highs. Like we said, we are in high areas. So since we're going to sell, we want to buy low, sell high. So we are selling in a strong area, and we are sitting in a strong demand zone. I want to see, where does that area line up with? Does that area line up with anything over to the left? Go to the 4 hour. And it does. So we have that nice little lineup with highs over to the left, even some lows. If you move over just a little bit more, some lows right there. So that's important as well. So for me, I would try to zoom in a little bit more. I want to see if I see any like trigger candles that are reverse candles, and maybe use those candles as a signal if broken. Bring it more so I can see that left over. Bring it over so I can see that left. Nope. Excuse me, the right. I want to see more of the right inside. Yep. Okay. Spread it out. Yep. So where we are right now, what's the next low level for the market to?
probably say this one.
90 to 150 or 90 to 125. Okay, so for me,
90, but
huh?
yep, around 92.10, 92.12.
92.10, 92.12. So, I would kind of like. Actually, I see the perfect candle I want to zoom in on. You see this green little wick right here? That one right there. Unhide your signals. Okay, so perfectly. Actually, you have a good zone right there. So pretty much right there. So pretty much if we can get the market to stay below this area here, this will probably be a good strong demand zone. I'll be looking to begin to start setting up for sales. But if the market does find some momentum to break through this area and pretty much break through it and come down for the retest, then I'll be trying to take it up to the next purple zone. So drop down to the 5 minute because I want to see how high is high, how low is low. Zoom. So yeah, we are sitting at very high areas right now. So like I said, I'm pretty much looking for the market to and actually let me put another zone in so maybe I can use that as another zone. So actually I want to try to see if I can get like a zone where it lines up with this high at this top, lining up with some lows. So a strong duality level. So and I'm talking about it below somewhere around 91,600, where that high lines up with those lows. Can we get a zone that comes across and highlights that? Yep, that one up there. Yep, can we get a zone to come across that high and hit those lows? For myself, so it's pretty much literally the break of zones. If the market has enough momentum and breaks the zone right above it, and breaks the highs over to that left sitting at probably 91.88 or 91.80. Nope, high, those high, yep, yep, up a little bit more. 91, yep, 85, yep, perfect. So yep, if the market breaks those highs right there, I'm looking for the retest at that level to go higher. If it can't find enough momentum to break that high up there, I'm pretty much looking for the market to break the purple zone at the bottom. If it can do neither, I'll probably try to trade within this little zone. How many pips is it from the top of the purple to the bottom of the purple? So a good 37. So if it does even go sideways, I want to try to figure out a plan for that as well. So buys, I'm looking for the market to come down to the bottom purple zone, find rejection, and go back up. Sells, I'm pretty much looking for it to come back up to the top purple zone, find rejection, and come down. That's for like the consolidation, and you should know the things what I'm going to say for breaking up the structure. If we're looking for buys breaking highs and higher lows, we're looking for the market to break that high right there and a retest. If we're looking for lower movements, that purple zone down at the bottom where it lines up with that high and with those lows, that'll be our area for the break and the retest. And that's pretty much my analysis.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Very nicely done. Thank you, thank you. I hope everybody was taking notes on that one. He dropped some game.
For sure. And actually, I never want to end it without actually picking out some actual levels. Where's my pen? So for me, go back to the 15 minute. I want to actually try to give some levels. Ooh, what's that level where that high is over there? Go.
Yeah, this one.
Nope. Come down lower. Yep. What level is that? Put a box right there. I want to see when you drop down lower. That's probably gonna be nowhere in the 15-minute time frame, probably. Nope. Yes, that's small. It's probably gonna be nowhere near the on the 15-minute time frame. Go to 15-minute. Go to the 30-minute. So this is for me also. I'm going to be only looking for down movements. Go to down movements, right? Go to weekly.
That's what you say, yeah.
Huh?
That's what you were saying, right?
I just want to make sure I do. Go to the monthly again. Monthly says, okay, the 7 is below 65. Go to the weekly. I think we were looking for shorts. Go to the daily. Yes, so we're looking for shorts. Okay, so the area I'm looking for is actually the 92. What's the price at the bottom of that purple zone? Yep, what price is that? 91.88. Huh?
Yep, that's 91.88, 91.90 ish,
Okay,
and the
so
top is 92 even.
okay, that's the price. Okay, 92 even. Okay, so that's it for that one. If not that one, what's the price at the top? The top purple zone. The top purple line, not the low one. Not
Just
that one. Nope, the next one up. If it breaks that one, yep. 92.80. 92.83. I'm gonna do 80 just to keep it round. Where's 80 at?
right there in that same area.
Okay, so cool. All right, so yeah, so I'm pretty much looking for the market to continue down. I don't really see a break in this purple zone right here. Actually, where we're sitting at right now would be considerably a good area to try to look for a short, but we never really want to assume. So for me, we're just gonna kind of wait for right now and see what the market does as far as when it enters into this purple zone for me. So that's pretty much my analysis.
Right. So that brings us to our next pair that we have coming up, and that is the Dow Jones, also traded as US 30 on the CFD side. So what we've seen has actually been pretty interesting because the Dow Jones has continued to move down. We had a little bit of a pullback the other day. On Tuesday, we were talking about how prices were sitting at this 50 moving average. But over the past couple of days, they've actually been dropping too. Everything US dollar related has been dropping. Not only the currencies, but also some of the stock indexes as well. And we've actually been able to move all the way back down to our lower levels, located at 33,625, 33,600. That's where our major support levels lie. As we bring up our levels, we can kind of see that a little bit. We see that this big zone down here, we have our high price at 589 and our low price at 377. Now, we've come back to the top of the zone. We haven't hit it perfectly, but it's close enough where I would count this wick as being a touch in this general area. And we can see that this level has been important before. Not only that, but it also lines up with the 50 moving average going back to mid-May. 2 times that was a double bottom. It came back and it's acting as support again. So it's no surprise that we see this wick that has just formed. So when we drop down to the lower time frames, let's see exactly what the price action indicated. So yeah, we have come down into major structure, but we have to look at how this movement has happened. So far, we've seen lower lows and lower highs ever since, I would probably say, this point right here on June the 7th. So that's going way back. So I say until we have higher highs and higher lows, we can't look for the long play. We do like the fact that prices are bouncing off of major support, but we have to give it a chance to shake itself out, let the sellers get out.
Hello, hello, yo, yo, yo,
D,
yo,
D,
yo.
you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
What happened?
I don't know. I think it was your
Is
Wi-Fi.
that me?
Yeah. Your Wi-Fi been treating you, bro.
Go to Twitch, see if the stream is still live.
Let me see.
I think it should be.
Yeah, it is. We still live.
Oh, wait,
Sorry,
nah,
people.
say,
Huh?
hold on. They say my OBS is reconnecting. Hold on, give it a second. It went out for a quick second. I was dropping game too. I don't know why they want to do me like that.
Soon as you start dropping game, bro, like that joint start messing up, bro. I don't know why that joint do that, bro.
So it's reconnecting. Come on, come on. All right, reconnection successful. All right, people. I think I tuned out a little bit right there. But what I was saying was, I'm mostly on the bull side. I'm looking for the long trade. Right now is not the time because we haven't made our higher highs and we haven't made our higher lows. But I can't recommend the sell trade right now either because we're running into major support levels down here at 625, 618, around that level. So I would say if you're waiting for the long trade, you have to be a little bit patient right now with the Dow Jones because we are in a pullback. So with that being said, let me go ahead and pass it over to Darren and let's get his thoughts on the Dow Jones and the US 30 and how he sees it moving tonight.
All right, so pretty much the last levels that we went over for US 30, we were talking about levels of 34,300, 34,250. Where are some of those levels? 34,350, 34,225. So we pretty much got a break of all those levels, the 34,300, the 34,250.
All of them.
All of them. So with that being said, that lets us know that the levels that we spoke of last episode have been hit and have been following pretty much everything we've been saying. So let's actually just flash over to the monthly and not skip over any steps because these steps are the reason why the areas and levels we call out actually really happen because we look at things from a higher time frame and get the bigger picture. So the next thing we pretty much want to look at on the monthly is make sure we see the either higher highs and higher lows, which pretty much we have. The 7 is above the 65. That lets us know the bulls are in control. We're going to drop down to the weekly. Pretty much same kind of deal. Higher highs, higher lows. 7 above the 65, 20 above the 50. But it looks a little bit right now. The market is trying to come down to retest some levels that it just broken out of. And it's even probably looking like it's moving to the side. But still overall on this weekly, the bulls are in control. Let's flash down to the daily. Daily has really kind of let us know that the up move that's really been going on has come to a little bit of a halt. It's kind of moving to side levels and kind of trying to retest levels that it's previously just broken. And the actually go up to that high. We want to go to the previous high, up a little bit higher of the level that I pointed out last time. Not that one. Bring it down a little bit more. Over to the left over here. This green candle. Yep, that one. That was actually a high I was talking about before. That even before all this was happening, this was actually an all-time high area that was present in the market before any of this happened. And it looks like we got a break of that level. So let's now come down to the next high area in which it would have been before that level, which is that level. And we're actually sitting, come up just a little bit because I don't think it was that one. Go to the 2 candles over. That one. That right there is pretty much what me will be considered the last all-time high area before all of that happened. We're kind of standing right on there right now, so I think maybe now the market is trying to find some good resistance levels, and it's actually really lining up with the wicks over to the left where we are right now, but over to the left where those wicks are sitting on the 50. That's very important. So unhide your signals because I want to see if you have any zones sitting on that. And actually you do. So pretty much that zone right there will pretty much be like the key to the basis of our trading strategy, and which would pretty much be that the market has come down into that zone, which is a very strong supply zone. Excuse me, demand zone. When it comes into there, you want to buy. You want to buy low, sell high. So, like I said, all the higher time frames let us know that the bulls are still in control. We're pretty much sitting right on top of a demand zone. So let's drop down to the 4-hour. So I think pretty much I'm looking for the market to probably either come all the way and touch that purple zone. So I'm pretty much looking for a touch of that purple zone before I actually, honestly, hop in for the buy. Right now, I think it just has a little bit more to push back down, and I'm thinking that it's trying to retest a previous low area that had just broken off of that nice little down move that just happened. But I feel like that red wick right there could possibly be that good enough. Like it that's the hit right there, and now maybe the market is now going to begin to come up. But for me, I think I just want to see the market hit that purple zone before I think about setting up for the buy. Go down to the 5 minute. So the 5 minute, um, kind of to me kind of tells me a story like that red wick is like the good enough thing, and ever since then it's been making higher highs and higher lows, and then now it's just been pretty much moving to the side. The area of 33,800 looks like it's a very strong floor, so pretty much the market has made its way above both moving averages. So I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it didn't come back down all the way to the purple zone, just because that wick was probably the um, good enough touch. So right now, I really want to see a retest of a level though. So I'll either want to see the retest of 33,850 or the retest of 33,8 flat. I want to try to see some of those levels retested before I go back in for the buy, just because I still feel like if that move doesn't happen, that we're still in a retracement move, which means we have some more down movements to go before we go officially long. So that's pretty much my analysis. I think it's going to go long. I'm just pretty much want to wait and for the market to come down and touch some areas. So the two areas that I'm looking for it to hit, and actually the areas that we talked about last week was this is U30. I already said we bust all those areas already. The 34, 300, 34, 250. So I'm looking for the retest of the 33, 850. U30. The 33, 850. And I want to see a test of the 33, 8 flat. And what's the level at that lower area where it's sitting exactly on top of the 20 and the 50? Go over to the right. Yep, yeah, right there. What level is that? 34, pretty much 34, 845. Pretty much 34, 850.
Yep.
All right, so yeah, those
Well,
are pretty.
33.
Oh, excuse me, 33. Yeah, 33, 850. So, yep, those are pretty much the two levels I'm looking for the market to try to come back down to touch before we go long. And if it blows past both of those, I wouldn't be surprised if it comes all the way back down to the purple zone. But that's jumping ahead of myself. Those are the two levels I'm looking for the market to come down to retest before we go long. And that's my analysis.
All right. And there we go. That is US 30 and dollar Swiss covered for you guys. And also, Darren, you have a couple pairs you want to drop some knowledge on for the people as well, right?
Yeah, so I want to kind of go over the two pairs that I've been talking about last episode, which kind of really went in our favor. What we talked about last week, which was AU and how it was stuck in this consolidation for a very, very long time. We knew that since we never got a break of these two highs over to the left, it never made this would be considered higher highs and higher lows, and until these two were pretty much broken, higher highs and higher lows were not active in the market. So in that case, the bulls are, the bears are probably going to end up taking back control of the market, which looks like it's doing. The market came up and hit, and it retested the area it falsely broken out of, came back up, hit it exactly. Ever since then, we've been really, and actually, I was really calling this head and shoulders pattern, and it really formed exactly the way I said. I said that it was really trying to retest this shoulder over to the left. We got a retest of this shoulder to our left. It was a little bit of a fight, but overall, we got we got that successful head and shoulders pattern, and I swear I knew it was gonna happen. I stayed with my guns, and I knew it was gonna pretty much happen. So uh the 7, so excuse me, I was going a little fast. So the 7 is below the 65 on the monthly, The 7 is above the 65 on the weekly, and the 7 is below or about to, or excuse me, presently right now still above the 65, but it's still looking like it's trying to make its way down lower. We haven't still made higher highs and higher lows, so like I said, I wouldn't be on the side of the buys right now. I would still only be looking for shorts. But being that we definitely came down to a very, very strong floor area, I think this could be the area where we can now begin to look for buys. I believe that this was the area it really wanted to come down to, because I feel like last time it did kind of like a little fake out. It came down, buyers jumped in, we got that form of that other left shoulder, which I kind of called, and then we got that fake breakout, and then finally it made its way down. So right now I would only have to stay on what I see, and that's selling. um so pretty much, being that it's at such a low area, we want to buy low, sell high. So I would really want to see it come back up to some higher areas or some previous lower areas the market was at previously, so I can want to bring the market down a little bit lower. Like I said, I don't see anything that's pointing to the buys yet, because we haven't got that breaking over to these two highs over there. So until that really happens, we really can't talk about buys just yet. Um, but I mean, like I said, you can make money both ways in this market. So I'm not ruling out buying, but for the long term, I should say. So, and even so, where we're sitting at right now, this from down here to even up here and up here wouldn't even be a bad by area. So this is about 200 and this is about a good 500, and that's staying within structure. So I think right now, I want to see what the market does while it's in this little zone. If it breaks out of this zone, that will probably let me know. Excuse me. If it comes back up to this previous low, stays above this purple zone area, I would then begin to look for sells. If it comes and breaks this zone, come back down for the retest, and kind of stays above this little blue zone, then I might think about taking buys. But until then, I'm pretty much looking forward to come back up to higher prices and see what it does. Because if it comes to this area, this blue little area, it can do two things. It could either come into this blue area, reject, make its way down, or come into this blue area, break up above it, come back down for the retest. That's actually the most important, because I feel like these areas up here are going to be more or less the retest area than down here. So if it breaks above these two over here, like these bodies, then I would possibly rule out the sell that we are now probably starting to begin to set up for buys. But I only want to trade what I see and not what I feel. And what I see is strong sell moves, strong exhaust to the downside. But what's also kind of worrying me, I feel like maybe the down movement has exhausted itself out, and now we can now begin to look for buy moves just based off of the last time we came down to this area. Because literally the last time we came back down to this area, it did exactly what I said it was going to do, at least for both sides. It was going to come up into this blue zone, break out of it, come down for the retest, and then finally make its way up. But let's not rush things. Let's kind of let the trade come to us. So, Ty, give me some of your thoughts.
All right. So when it comes to AU, that was a great analysis, by the way.
Thanks.
When it comes to AU, I agree with Darren. I like the short trade too. I am from the daily. What he said with the head and shoulders was spot on. The head and shoulders did work out, and we finally made that move down. So now that we see the momentum coming in, for me, this is perfect, because all I have to do is just sit back, be patient, and wait for the levels to be hit that I'm looking for on the sell side. And I can find those levels by finding areas that used to be previous support levels that now should become resistance, meaning that prices should not break back up through these levels. And when they get there, those should be areas we want to look for when we want to take the short trade. So let's break it down to the hourly chart and let's find some of these levels that we can get. And can you bring back up your zones and your support level? I like the purple zone that you had. I'm looking for that area as well. I think that price is right around 76 cents, right?
Let me see. Hold on. The blue zone exactly at 76.75. Yeah, so the quarter level is 76.05. Excuse me, 76.075.
Okay, cool. So I'm looking for that zone as well because I think because the down movement has been so strong, the pullback is going to be strong as well. We're coming into a major level of support. So if this was ever an area to see any type of bounce up to the upside and see prices move higher, I think that this could be it. So that means that for me as a seller, I want to be patient because one thing that we always tell you guys is that whenever you're looking for the short trade, you never want to short from lower prices. Try and find the highest price you can that still indicates that the short move is coming, but a price that you get better value at. Short from higher prices, buy from lower. If we stick to those rules, we should be good. And based on that, I think for right now, the 76 even level would definitely be one of my favorite levels that I'm looking to trade from. And a second level after that I would say is probably 75.75. Because
So
one thing about a
76,
strong
so
downtrend,
76 flat and
mm-hmm,
75.75.
yeah, because one thing about a downtrend, if it's too strong, sometimes you don't even get the pullbacks to those major zones. It'll just keep going. It'll be a
Mm-hmm.
small pullback, and then it'll make its way down.
That is a fact. So overall, we're still looking for the push to the downside, but we definitely don't want to rule out the last time it was in this area. It made a huge exhaust to the upside. So, like Tiberius said, we want to be patient and we want to let the market finish playing out whatever it wants to do. So I don't know if I cut you off or if you were done, but
No, that was it.
but yeah. So
That's what I'm looking for.
the down movement, right?
Yep.
Yep. So yeah. So I never like. So also too, like I want you guys to always remember, always go with your gut instinct. If the market has been showing you down movement, stay with the down movement. Don't fight that because there's a lot of times in my trading where I've said, yo, this is a head and shoulders pattern. I see it, it's forming, it's struggling at those levels, but something inside of me is trying to tell me to buy, but then it also always goes with my first direction, which is pretty much a rule I want you guys to always remember. Your first instinct is 80% of the time always right. There's a very, very small percent, maybe 10% or maybe even 20%, maybe less than 20, that you're wrong. But it's always the gut feeling that is right. So with that said, we're looking for down movements, and we're pretty much like looking to see what the market is going to do in the next few hours or so. So with that said, we're all in for the buy, correct?
That's right. Well, I'm being patient. I'm gonna wait for the short.
Okay, we're going to be patient. So yeah, we were both going to be patient anyway. So now we're going to flash over to gold. Gold is kind of like literally the mirror image of AU. Hold on. And let me bring it to the higher time frame because I want you guys to really see some of the areas that we were talking about before. Let me see the areas that I called last time or we were kind of paying attention to last time. So gold, the areas we were talking about was 1895. So 1895 was the area, these areas are up here we were looking for. And this pretty much kind of did that head and shoulders kind of thing too. It was a little forced, but it had pretty much the same type of setup where this was the head. This had like a little lower shoulder, but it kind of like lined up with this shoulder as well. So I would feel like this was like the false breakout that kind of got a lot of the buy traders. But these areas, the 1895 and the 1888 area, were the areas we were looking to short. And that was in this consolidation area. It was stuck in for a while, and we finally got a break of that structure down below. Both sides, this structure here and this structure. Once we got this one, we was out. We came all the way back down to an area I didn't think we were going to even possibly come back down to. But let's hop back to the monthly because we're not going to skip any steps. Notice that this is the all-time high here. Let me high and high. The 7 is above the 65. Higher highs has been formed. Higher highs and higher lows. We got a break of the previous all-time high. Weekly kind of lets us see a little bit crisper how this was the last all-time high. We broke above that, but for some reason we came all the way back down, even touched an area lower than last time's all-time high. We came down into that, and it's crazy. It hit exactly where our uptrend line was in that zone. It hit that literally off of the wick, which would have been the perfect area to buy. And now the market has come down back into these areas where they wanted to buy before. So this is literally setting up into a perfect area to begin to start looking for buys. We're sitting in a strong or a nice little floor, which was once all-time highs. Before all of this was happening, this were all-time highs. We coming right back into those areas. So now I feel like maybe it's going to try to come back down and touch the uptrend line again, just to really confirm these other two. But I feel like 1, 2, 3 was a confirmation for me that this is going to be a good little area that we can see the market come and push down into. The only thing that worries me is that we came from up here all the way down here, making lower lows and lower highs, breaking very important structures, even came back down below all-time previous high, which was over here. Now that we're sitting below it, I feel like now we even came back into the zone, into this little wedge pendant. Honestly, I can definitely see the market come in maybe to the blue zone. Maybe the candle come down here, the wick will touch it, and it'll come back up and close somewhere in here, and then it'll finally shoot off. But I feel like it possibly could have a little bit more movements to go, but I would still really have to stay on the side of the buys just because no, I'm sorry. I would really have to stay on the side of the sales currently at 10:46 today at Thursday. It may change tomorrow at Friday, the 18th. But as far as June 17th, I really feel like we have a little bit more room to go down just because we've been making still lower lows and lower highs. We haven't really broken this high or this high or this high to really say we're making higher highs and higher lows. So until we can really say we're seeing higher highs and higher lows, we would have to only follow what we've been seeing, which is lower lows and lower highs. So I think the market has a little bit more move down, and I think we can either see it come back down to the bottom of the green zone or even to the blue line. But I think that's possibly as far as it'll go. And that's still a nice little move for gold. Gold is very volatile, but I feel like that's as far as it'll go. Until then, that is when I will probably have to start thinking about the buys. Right now, I would still only have to follow suit and try to bring prices up a little bit higher to these areas up here. Once it comes back in and rejects here at this level, I'll be looking for it to bring it back down to the bottom of this green zone, or maybe close to the bottom of the green zone, maybe here. Once it comes there, is then I'll think about looking for buys. Until then, I'll just capitalize off that 3,200% or not percent points or pips for gold, and that is pretty much my trade. Ty, tell me what you're thinking, bro.
All right. So when it comes to gold, I really like this down move that just happened. I think that's what we kind of been looking for. When we talked about the chart on Tuesday, we were looking at how things were kind of looking a little bit different. So I like the fact that gold has done the down move. So let's pull it back to the daily chart and let's actually keep support and resistance up there. I like the zones that you have. All right. So, like Darren said, I think overall we do have to lean towards the buy-in because we know what gold is, we know what it represents, we know it's a store of value, and that over time, like maybe long term, gold definitely should go up. But we also understand that as traders, from a technical standpoint, we know that there are ups and downs in the market. So coming out of this down move, I think let's zoom in a little bit. I think if we break back up out of the zone, that's definitely a bull move for sure. I think we could catch some pips off of that, and not too much, just a little bit, enough to make a good meal for us. So let's break it down to the hourly chart. What levels were you looking at again, Darren? What were the numbers?
The numbers that I were
I think
looking
you.
at
Yeah.
was, I didn't write it down, but I did say it. So I was looking for the 18, pretty much what I wanted to say. I wanted to say the zone area. So any prices in between, um, any price in between these zones. So as high as 1806.80 to 18 flat. 1806 to 18 flat would be my areas for short, and I'll be taking it somewhere between 1775.
Because when you were talking about 18 flat, I was saying, in my mind, that leads me to the whole number theory. I like to think about that because those psychological levels, like 1800, 1900,
Yep.
they make a big difference in the market.
Yep. That's why I chose it.
So, yeah. And I think for me also, I like those levels too. I think that would be an excellent level for the pullback to come to. And I think also if we see prices break above those levels, then we could also see a touch of maybe the next quarter level up at 1825. D has a line there already at 1822, so it's right around that blue line, right around that general area. And also notice how that lines up to the previous high. That's the one, two, I would say third one above. So if that one gets broken, that definitely signifies that gold is on its way back up. But overall, since we know that we are definitely in the middle of a down movement, we're going to let the retracement play out. If we want to, we could potentially take this long trade up back to the 1800 level, see what happens from there. And then overall, we'll have to see what exactly happens tomorrow. I told you guys before, all of these things are moving based on the announcement from the Fed yesterday. So tomorrow morning should be a great session. We should tap in. So for me, 1800, I'm looking for the long right now, just a quick little scout. And for me, that's my analysis on gold.
All right, guys, there you have it. So for Tiberius, he said he's going to get a quick little scalp going up. Like I said, since we are looking for the short still continuing, we would need Tiberius's long for prices to come back up higher, in which we can bring the market back down into the 17 area or prices area of prices, and that'll be somewhere area we can either think about taking it back up again or bringing it all the way back down again, which I highly doubt. But all in all, I'm all in for the sell. Tiberius in for the quick scout buy before my move. So his is pretty much the same thing anyway. So that's pretty much my analysis on gold. So let's now move into another section of our show, which is the exploration section of our show, which is a section we added for those who are new, is to expose you guys to much more than just Forex. I know we talk a lot about the US 30 and the dollar Swiss and AU and gold, but this financial market has so much more to offer to you guys, and we just want to give you guys just a little bit that you guys, just a little nugget or a seed, and you guys would take that, put that to work and do your own research and see, which market is best for you. So with that being said, I want to bring you guys your attention to a big market that's really been forming in the last couple months and even the last couple years, which is medical marijuana. And we've been really keeping our eyes on a couple of the stocks that's been going on. All of them are pretty much new. So one of the two of them will be kind of going over, and we kind of just want you guys. The purpose of this is to, at least for me, is I want you guys, before you ever put your money into anything, is always do your research on all the specific type of stock in that particular industry. Whereas medical marijuana, there are a few stock out there, and you definitely want to look at your charts. You want to compare your financials. You even want to compare prices on even how much, the typical stock or of one particular stock is. So the two we're going to kind of go over, one of them is, which is one of my favorite, which is SNDL. SNDL is a Canadian stock, Canadian company that's located in Canada that does medical marijuana. But I want to bring your attention to the price of the stock right now. It's literally under $1. Like, that is absolutely crazy for a lot of people who are into stocks and stuff, and that's a regular buyer. Stocks are very rarely like under $1, especially good markets where, even though probably the excuse for this one is that it's new, but still there's other stock like the one I want to bring your attention to is Cureleaf. Cureleaf is I think an American base. Let me see over here. Let's actually flash and see what Cureleaf. Cureleaf is actually an American. Like, you always want to do your research. Let's just pop Cureleaf in really quick. So Cureleaf is an American cannabis company listed in the Canadian Stock Exchange. So it's not even it's not even listed on the US Stock Exchange. It said it's listed on the Canadian Stock Exchange. But let me see when I pull it up though. It has a US symbol though. I don't know why. But anyway, it is a U.S. What is this? Where? It's a U.S. cannabis company, listed on the Canadian Stock Exchange. It was founded by American billionaire Boris Jordan. Curaleaf engages in production and distribution of cannabis products across North America, operating in dispensaries in 23 states. So this is a company that's not really new to the game. It came into the game actually really moving its feet. And if you actually look at and compare at the prices in which both of them are, this one, Cureleaf, is actually sitting at $13.57. So I want you guys to think about it. Why is Cureleaf at $13 and the other one, which is Sundial, which is a Canadian company, and let's actually pop in and see what Sundial growers, and it's listed on the Canadian Stock Exchange. So I don't know. In my opinion, I feel like with the stock prices, Cureleaf being so low. I mean, excuse me, Sundial being so low, Sundial being so low. I feel like when making a decision, I would feel like Cureleaf would be a better decision on whether to begin to start putting your money in. I wouldn't say immediately jump in, but I would say also look at the chart, do your analysis as far as your top down analysis. I'll just add, I'll pass it over to Tiberius and maybe he'll go over that with you guys, doing like the technical stuff. But bring up your financials, and I think if you're looking back in some of our episodes, we went over some of those things you should know. You're looking up your 10Ks. Your 10Ks talk about all of your income statements, balance sheets, cash flow statements. And we even went over 6 ratios: the quick ratio, the cash ratio, the what's another one? Give me another one, Ty. Quick ratio.
Debt to equity ratio.
Debt to equity ratio, which is another very important ratio you need to know and understand before you decide to put your money in these things. That's why, in my opinion, every lane is for the to each his own. But when investing in stock, you have to actually take that extra step, that initiative step, because really, you can look at the technicals, but you would also need to look at the financials as well, because you want to see, are they actually making money? This can tell you one side of the story, but you would actually need to know and do your quote unquote top down analysis. We try to really install that, because that really takes it to another level. Like your top down analysis, you want to make sure, what is the company about? Do they actually make money every quarter? How much cash do they have on hand? How much debt do they have on hand? Like, these are the questions that you need to know when you're investing. So let me look over something really quick. Let me see something. Sundial, and then this one. So when you look at Cureleaf, I want you guys to just kind of look at it just from just kind of naked on both sides. But is it me, or does this kind of look like a little inverse in a way, where like, while this one was kind of going, it started down here and kind of made its way up and kind of playing around. This one would kind of went started up, made its way down, and now playing around. Is there some type of positive or negative correlation? I don't know. But that's something that you probably, us as investors, will probably want to try to get to know, because those is all important. If you can figure out there is some type of correlation in sundial and Cureleaf, you can use that to your advantage and know that if sundial is going down, most likely Cureleaf is going up. So I don't want to keep going and blabble off at the now. I want to actually pass over to Tiberius, because I know he probably has a couple things he want to kind of either piggyback off of, or correlate, or. But I'm gonna pass it over to Ty, man. Give us some of your thoughts, though.
All right. So when we talk about Curaleaf, I think it brings up a very interesting thing, like you just mentioned. So what's the ticker symbol? CURLF, right?
Yep.
All right. So when we talk about Curaleaf, I think one of the main things we pointed out was definitely the difference between the stock price. So that makes us wonder, like, what exactly is going on with Curaleaf? So let's go back for a second. Let me share my screen real quick. Let's go back for a second and let's look at that. All right, can everyone see?
Yep.
All right, cool. So now these moving averages. What you can do on TradingView, you can actually see, you can get an insight into the financials by looking at these badges down here at the bottom of your screen. When you click on these show you what happened when the earnings report came out. Now, an earnings report basically represents how much money the company made per share. So they take your overall net income and then they divide that by the number of shares that you have outstanding, and it gives you this number that we're looking at right here. So in our case, we have right now, as reported on May the 10th, most recently, they had negative 3 cents. So that means they lost 3 cents per share, which means for that quarter, they lost money. So they had less income than they had bills and expenses. So for that quarter, they didn't do the best. And you can really see if it was good or if it was bad based on the color of the arrow. So every time you see a red E, it represents that the earnings did not meet expectations. They didn't make as much money as the analysts were projecting. And that's not a good thing if you're a stockholder. So we can see over time, Curaleaf has had its ups and its downs. But more recently, they had 2 bad ones, but before that, they had 3 good ones. But if we look at the chart, we can see that ever since March of 2020, when the pandemic hit, ever since then, this company has been moving higher. So we have to think what actually goes into that. We have to think about financials and the macro environment. what was going on during that time period? It was a lockdown, not only in the United States, but also in Canada as well. So both countries that this company is kind of located in were affected. So more people were at home, more people were probably stressed out. So more than likely, they think about trying the cannabis product. That's why this industry is starting to boom and become so big. And I think the price action on the chart supports that right now because ever since that time, we've moved from a low of $2.67. We've made higher highs and higher lows, broken past all of our major levels of resistance, made new all-time highs, and we came all the way up to 18, from 2 to 18. So that's more than 9 times the value of what it used to be in less than a year. So that's pretty nice. Now we've seen that the stock has pulled back, and that's what we expect on a technical basis. Even when we know the fundamentals line up and they're all good, the technicals don't always match the fundamentals because, like we always tell you, there are pullbacks in the market. And that's what we're looking at right now. We've seen prices come all the way back down to test that $12 level. Now, if we follow that level across, what does that run into? That runs into levels that used to be previous all-time high. It's not perfect. This is more so at 1160, 1170, but it's within that general range if we were to box that up like D would do and put it into a zone. So we're really just hovering around support right now, and that's what we see on the technical side. Now, we also want to make sure, let's see, on the fundamentals, I want to show you guys a website that you can use to kind of research and find all of these numbers really quick because we mentioned a lot of ratios that we talk about. You can go to this website called marketbeat.com. Type in your symbol. So you URLF, and boom, it pops up right there. You have Curaleaf Holding. Now, when this screen pops up, we can see everything that's associated with the stock. We can see what the analysts, so these are people who, for a living, they research this company and make reports all day, every day. So they have an average, and they give you the ratings. They tell you what they think about it. You got the earnings, which is the important thing that we want to look at. So on TradingView, you can go back as far as you want to, and you can use this website too. So that's Curaleaf right there. Now, also, we talked about Sundial, and we wanted to figure out, like, if both of these companies are in the marijuana space, but Curaleaf has been doing very well, Sundial has been struggling, as we can clearly see from the price action on the chart. We have to ask ourselves, why is that the case? Like, me and D were talking about this before the show. We were talking about how maybe Sundial doesn't run their business as well as a company like Curaleaf. Maybe Curaleaf has a better supplier, so they can have a higher profit margin when it comes down to the earnings report. Whatever it is, the stockholders do not like it, and they've been selling the stock since it came out way back in August of 2019. It came to a high of about $13.22. Right now, it's sitting, like D said, it's below a dollar right now. So that either indicates that it's either a great purchase where maybe over the long term you could have great success, but in the short term, it's like, man, how much further down could it go? Based on the technical chart, I would say maybe we have hit a dollar, but we have major support down here at 70 cents. So I think if we could catch it down here at these levels, we might be able to take it back up to a dollar. Now, mind you, that might not sound like a lot until we look at the percentage gain. So let's do from 70 cents to a dollar. The percentage gain on that is about 42%. So that's a pretty good trade for your account if you're looking to, maybe swing on something that has a lot of growth potential, but is a little bit risky on the wild side. So I think for Sundial, man, they have potential, but they got to get it right. You look at the earnings, man, we can just look at the colors. They've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 earnings reports. Only 2 of them have been green. So they have work to do, but I think they have potential in the future down at 70 cents. So D, what's your thoughts on all of that? How do you feel in conclusion about these 2 companies right here?
Man, in conclusion, where I honestly feel like they're going right now, I think just looking at Sundial, like you said, just looking at their expense reports that's been coming out, 6 of them are red and 2 of them are green. We did start out, what was our overall high? on sundial?
Around, I think,
All time
13,
high.
22,
And where are we sitting at right now? 96.
96.
So I
Yeah.
mean that's very self-explanatory. Let's fly over this cure leaf. Let's kind of look at the same thing, answer the same questions. What's the all-time high?
All time high. Around 1830,
18. Where are we sitting at right now?
1357.
And how many expense reports are red? One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 5 green and 6 red. So I mean, just looking at that without even looking at support and resistance, not looking at none of that, just looking at that. The all time was 18. We're sitting at 13. The other one, the all time was like 13. We're $13, and we're now sitting at under $1. I mean, there's a no brainer. I think that Cure Leaf right now would be something I would kind of begin to start thinking to hop into as far as grabbing the financials, running those ratios, looking at my support and resistance. So let's actually like really break it down really quickly while we have a little bit more time before we hop into our last section. So let's try to break this down. Let's just go unhigh my moving averages really quick.
Gotcha.
Let's go to the monthly because we just want to see higher highs, higher lows. Where is our moving averages sitting? So pretty much this one doesn't really have it, but all higher highs and higher lows has pretty much been showing. A 20 is only appearing, no 50, so I'm assuming the 20 is just higher than the 50. Let's drop down to the weekly. We did break up the previous all-time high. The previous all-time high was at around $10. See up somewhere around $10. That was the previous all-time high. We did break that. So we did come up to 18, and now we coming down. We actually retested that one level. So um, let's drop down to the daily. The 20 is above the 50. We did break the all-time previous high, and we're now looking to try to come down and retest that level and stay above it. The 20 is now sitting above the 65 on, excuse me, the 50 on this one as well. So wrapping that all up, the 20 is above the 50 in all three cases. Um, and we're looking to try to retest that $10 level. So I mean, I'm looking for the market to try to come down a little bit more to $10 and wait for it to what it does when it gets to that level. And I'm looking for it to pretty much go up from here. I'm looking to the market to pretty much go back up and retest the $18 level, which is the top of structure. So for this one, I'm looking for it to buy. I want to be patient right now. I want market prices to come back down and retest that previous all-time high, which is somewhere around $10. I want to see it really come down to that level and stay above it. I think it's a little bit. I think it's a little bit
What's
higher.
it? Is it this one?
I think so, but now I'm pointing at the wick now, that red wick, where it found resistance right there. Yeah, so that's pretty much gonna be my structure right there. Come right there, see what it does at $12.20 or 15 cents. See what it does. If we can stay above that line right there, I would definitely now begin to start thinking about buys. Until then, I'll be running the ratio. So let's flash over the sundial. Let's kind of do the same thing. Let's look at the monthly. And we're going to wrap this up. So pretty much the 20 is the only thing appearing. We got lower lows and lower highs. So I'm assuming that the 20 is above the 50. The 20 is above the, below the 50. Just because it's just been making lower lows and lower highs. Let's drop down to the weekly. Did you unhigh the 50? Okay. So on the weekly, the 20 is above the 50. We didn't get a higher low yet, so technically we're still in the lower low and lower low phase. Let's drop down to the daily. In the daily, the 20 is above the 50 on this one. But now that I think about it, on the monthly, the 50 doesn't even appear, so I have to assume that it's above. not below. So if that is true, the monthly, weekly, and daily says that it's now starting to begin to look for buys because the 20 above the 50 shows that the bulls are in controls. But the only thing that conflicts that is that there are no higher highs and higher lows being formed. So I mean, on this one, I would kind of have to stay away for this one right now, just because things are not lining up. Lower lows and lower highs has been showing, but on the higher time frames, it's saying that the buys are in control. I don't understand how that's saying that. The only reason why I say this is true because we made that big wick, and that's technically a higher high. We came down and made that low. No, actually before that, go all the way to the bottom. All right, now make your way up. That's the first higher high. Now come down. That's the lower higher low. Now go up now. Now come down. That's the higher high and that's the higher low. So we're in the higher low phase. So either it's gonna make its way up and make another higher high. So the monthly is saying that. So I would have to eat out. So first, I'm definitely still only looking at Cure Leaf. Cure Leaf is what I would be looking at. But looking at this technically right now, I would feel like we would have to kind of chill on this one.
Yeah, it's kind of early for the buy. It's moving. Like if we just look at it on a weekly, it has been moving higher, but that's what happens during pullbacks, right?
Right.
So it's like one of those things where, depending on your time horizon, you could catch the long trade and make profit off of it. And depending on your time horizon, you could also catch the short trade and make money off of it. It's just about timing and hopping in. Like you could catch a quick scalp to the long side, or catch a a quick scalp to the or swing to the short.
That's a fact. So to answer your question, which one I would get in and what I'm thinking, both of them are looking like they are beginning to head and make its way up. Cure Leaf looks like it's more doing it than Sundial. Sundial, I think we would have to wait a little bit more and let that buy come to us. So that's actually being patient. So yeah, I think Sundial, we would just have to wait on that one. And to conclude, Cure Leaf would be the one I would begin to start grabbing the financials and running the ratios.
Okay, cool. So, and that's the thing, people. Make sure you do your research too.
Yep. So that's pretty much what I wanted to leave with you guys is actually looking what me and Tiberius just did. We looked at two stocks that were in the same marketplace in space, and we pretty much looked and we didn't run the whole thing. We didn't run the ratios, but the ratios are a part of it. We would have grabbed the income statement, balance sheet, or excuse me, the 10K, which is all of them together, and then we would have ran the ratios. And I'm pretty sure the ratios were kind of lined up to what we were saying was that Sundial overall has been making nothing but negative returns. Cure Leafy, on the other hand, has been making more positive earnings over a span of time than Sundial has. Cure Leaf had 5 green positive earnings and 6 negative. And that's better than Sundial, which it had 2 green. How many green? 1 green or 2 green?
Just 2.
2 green out of 6, or out of all of those. So, just looking at comparing just their earnings over a time span, Cure Leaf had more positive earnings over a span of time than Sundial. So Cure Leaf would be something we would start to begin to run the ratios. Once we get the ratios, we would actually sit down and do our support and resistance, and then we'll actually put it all together, and we'll just wait and execute the trade that way. So that is what I wanted to leave with you guys in our exploration, which is comparing two things are that's in a market space, looking at the those ratios, pulling up those that website. What is that website? Give the website to the people again, Ty.
That's marketbeat.com.
Marketbeat.com. So that's a place where you can go and get your information and begin to run your ratios. And for that statement again, for you guys that keep missing it, it's 10K. 10K is a report which is a combination of all the income statement, balance sheet, and the cash flow statement, so you can run your ratios. So it said that is the wrap up of our exploration section of the show. We are now going to move into our last and final section of the show, which is Traders Talk, which is a section of the show that we put into the show to actually give you the real deal of what this trading is all about. We don't always want to show you guys just that one trade that we had out of all day. We wanted to show you our entire PL and our history, to hide anything from you guys. And we want to be straightforward with you guys. So the things I want to leave with you guys today is comparing and understanding your market space before you hop in. So for us, in our example for tonight, which was medical marijuana space, we had Sundial Growers and we had Cureleaf, which were two companies in the medical marijuana space. Two of them, as you can see, were very, very different in terms of earnings. Sundial had more of a negative earnings compared to Cureleaf, who had more earnings, or excuse me, more positive earnings than Sundial. So I want you guys to always remember, man, do your research, do your debt to equity ratios, do your cash ratios, do those 6 ratios that we talked about. Actually sit down, bring both charts up the way me and Tiberius did. Look at the earnings, do your support and resistance. So understand when you're doing stock, you do that extra step. You grab those ratios, you compare, you write out a plan in which you're going to do, and you execute it. Another thing I want you guys to remember are the levels for tonight, for tomorrow's show, which is our Bison Trading Live. We need those levels to see what the market is going to do with those levels. Are the levels that we called on point, or did we miss it by a long haul? So I feel like write those levels down for tomorrow, and remember comparing, doing our research and understanding the space in which we want to invest. So I'm gonna pass the floor over to Tiberius. I know he wants to say a couple of things. Go ahead, Ty. Give us some game you want to leave with the people tonight.
All right. So I want to piggyback a little bit off of what Darren said about doing your research. I think, like I always tell you guys, research is so important, because doing your research gives you an extra edge to understanding the market. Because we come and we break down the technical side of the market, but the fundamentals are also always important. The more you understand the fundamentals, the more it can help you understand why the technicals move. So if you can line up what's going on in the macro environment, like, okay, this company, Cureleaf, they're doing well after the pandemic hit, then you start to understand why the technicals are showing higher highs and higher lows. And you can find these types of correlations in the market everywhere. You know, tonight we just did it with Sundial and Cureleaf, but D has shown you things before where he did gold and the dollar index, where he's compared the dollar index to different currencies. I've showed you guys how to use Apple and technology futures as a hedge. So it's all types of correlations in the market. The more you research, the more you know, and the more you can profit from when it comes to these markets. So I just advise everybody to continue to do your research. You're here at the Bison Trading Show, so you're already making the right move. And all you have to do is continue to grow and continue to put your work in. We all can do that together and grow as a community.
All right, guys, there you have it. So to wrap up for the night, guys, please have those levels ready for tomorrow morning. We're going to be live and direct 9:10, 9:15 a.m. Eastern sharp. Don't meet us there. Definitely beat us there. Tell a friend to tell another friend to follow us, man, on our YouTube. Follow us on our IG page. And please subscribe to our Twitch. We love all of our viewers, man. Please drop a comment, a question. You can hit me on my personal IG at I'm the D Guy, at IMDGUY, or my business page, which is at Pearl_Financial_LLC. Or you could definitely hit my man Tiberius at his links at.
You guys can hit me up on both Instagram and YouTube under the name Ty Trades Futures. Over here on YouTube, I like to break down what I do on the Dow Jones and how I trade the S&P 500 futures and the Dow Jones futures together. And just, a plan on how you guys can do that too if that's what you're interested in. And also on Instagram, I do the same thing over there as well. So make sure you follow me on both of those. And of course, you have to check out the Bison Trading Show YouTube page. We have more than 30 videos in our catalog. All of them are more than an hour long. So if you want to talk about finding a place to get some good information, you have it right here. So make sure you check out that catalog when you get a chance. And if you know the show like we know it, you know what line comes next. D, what's going on here, man?
Man, everybody pull up tomorrow, 9:10, 15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Have your levels ready, have your notebook, have your pen. But you know what, Tiberius, please take us up out of here respectfully.
All right, good people. It's been a good one. Bison Trading Show live tomorrow morning, 9:10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here, same place. We'll see you then. For all my traders, be patient.
Grr, bow.